Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm confused. I'm confused. So I'm not a spring chicken. I just want to put that out there. I am not a spring chicken. So I've lived long enough to see the time frames when guys and girls were decent. They were not as selfish as they are now. We didn't have social media where you got to put your phone in your face and fall in love with yourself all day. Um, Although social media can't make you be self absorbed, you already had a propensity towards that anyway. Just like watching violent movies cannot make you become a killer, you already had a desire to do that. Okay. But through my entire life, I've seen a severe decline in the quality of people, men and women both. I don't know why we don't have morals and ethics anymore. I don't know why people see other people as something they can screw in the bed. They do not see them as or a wallet or a place to live or I can use you for a baby, whatever it is that people are using each other for. This has become a weird and creepy obsession where you just have to get with people who are going to benefit you. Okay. And we've gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and more and more and more selfish, more and more horny, more and more entitled. The world owes me because I breathe. So when you've lived long enough to watch the decline happen right in front of your face, you see strangers go through hell. You've been through hell in your personal life. You coach people who have been through horrific things with people who are horrific people. They misrepresented who they were just to manipulate somebody. And you watch the decline. It's like those charts where they have it starts off at the bottom, then it gradually goes higher, 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 higher to the peak, and then it drops clear off. And we have dropped clear off. No more morals, no ethics, no nothing, no consideration for other people, no compassion, no empathy, no desire to see people as human beings. We see them as something we can manipulate, use, trick, lie, cheat. And with all of that, when you watch it with your own eyes and you see what other people go through and you see the decline happening, where's the incentive to want companionship with someone? Where's the incentive to want to screw somebody, especially as a female, because you're just seen as tits and ass anyway. We're going to keep it raw. You're only tits and ass to a man. You are not a human being unless he was actually raised right, and good luck finding those. Because our society encourages boys to be horny. We encourage boys to chase after girls. Guys encourage each other to be disgusting. Look at the rack on that one. Oh man, I'd love to have those legs wrapped around my face. All right, we're going to get raw talk. Guys encourage that. Fathers encourage their sons to be whores. There's this macho ego thing where men prove to other men how gross they are. They always have to prove to other guys, bragging, lying a lot of times. Man, I couldn't call you back this weekend. I was getting tagged. This girl had me all kind of ways. Man, I wanted to curl up in a ball and cry and call my mommy and suck on my thumb. She rocked me so good. He could be lying off his ass. It could be a fantasy in his head. And even if it's not a fantasy in his head, that's the only thing he cares about the majority of the time. There's very select few men. I'm not saying it's awful to look at somebody and go, damn. But when you stay stuck there and you can't move past that point, you're immature and you are not in a position to be in a relationship because right out the gate, you're objectifying this person and you can't see past that. which is dangerous and could cost you your life one day. Because all you, especially women, all they care about is he's fine, girl, he fine. I'll let him get away with everything because he fine. There are some fine killers out there too. Which man which man is so good looking that you're willing to have him murder you? Okay. You go to these dudes' houses, you don't know this man from a can of paint. So if he roofies you or assaults you, what did you expect was going to happen? You don't know him and you went running over. You were a lamb being led to slaughter and you were fine with it because he's fine. He look good. Honey, he's finer than a bottle of wine. Okay, you're objectifying him just the way they objectify us. So how are you any different than him? You're doing the same thing. And because he looks a certain way, he can't murder you, he can't rape you, he can't beat you up, he can't kill you and then wrap you up in a whatever and dump your body somewhere because he's so fine. When you've lived long enough and you are old enough to watch the decline every decade, the decline gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And you don't have to get a clue just by experiencing it yourself. You could get a clue from watching what is happening around you on a daily basis. Look at the crimes that are being committed. People are, like I said, femicide is on the rise. Okay? One guy beheaded his ex-girlfriend or girlfriend or whatever. They were not getting along with each other whatsoever. And she said, I'll expose you to your guy friends and let them know that you're gay. So what does he do? Because he thinks that's the solution. He gets a machete. He beheads her in broad daylight when she's walking down the street. Because that was clearly the answer, and that was clearly the way to stop the rumor mill. True or not, doesn't matter. So now not only everybody knows that you're gay, but now you're going to prison too. If you still live in a state that punishes murder, because we're so lax with laws thanks to a certain political party. We're so fucking lax with laws that, hey, you might get a smack on your wrist if you kill somebody. Well, I've only killed one person, so try to behave from here on out. Anyway, move right along. So with that being said, why the hell, when you watch the decline every 10 years, you watch the decline of quality people? Where in the hell is the incentive to want a companion? Where is the incentive to want to be intimate with someone, especially as a woman, because you know that men are only interested in getting between your legs? That is their primary concern. They want to collect booties. You know, people collect shells. Some people collect stamps. Men collect ass. Where's the incentive to want to be with them? Why would anyone... I question a woman, why would you... Unless you don't realize how bad the decline is of quality people? Do you not realize that? You can't let your desire for companionship make you crave something that's bad for you. And most people out there are bad for you. You can't even get decent friends anymore, because the quality of people as friends has declined rapidly too. People don't want to be there for you. They want to be there for themselves, and they want to be with you as long as it benefits them. And like the Bible specifically says, people will be lovers of selves. This is not me making this up. This isn't me being negative. This is me looking at the world eyes wide open. Why the hell would you want companionship from someone who's manipulating you? Why would you want companionship from someone who's love bombing you in the beginning? so that they can win you over, so that you put your wall down. And the minute you put your wall down, they're like, yeah, I got you, sucker. They may not say those words, but their behavior will show it crystal clear. You know, it's natural to want to be with somebody, but you have to be more logical than that. You have to know that your chances of being with evil ass people, selfish ass people, is extremely high. And you're going to probably have to, especially as a woman, it's very, very hard to date as a woman because you're being targeted right out the gate for your ass. Okay? Let's just keep it real. We're going to keep it raw today. You're being targeted for that. And because men are stupid, not all men, if you're a good man, sit down and be quiet, please. Love you. Bye. Sit down. Well, you don't have to leave. You could just sit here, be quiet. We ain't talking about you, okay? Love you. Be quiet. Here's some pretzels and here's a drink. Your drink of your beverage of your choice. Anyway, I've got, some of my closest friends are guys. So I'm not a man hater by any means, but I know what's out there and I know what's happening. And I know that the quality of people is just shit. It is. It's absolute shit. When you're you're approaching somebody with your hand out, you got the wrong idea right out the damn gate. Whether it's no matter what you're using the person for or trying to use them, it doesn't matter. You have no business approaching somebody with a give me attitude. People will be lovers of selves. I have seen it get worse and worse and worse and worse with every decade. We've gone all the way up to the peak and where people were decent and kind and warm and affectionate and loving. And then we started dropping the hell off. And I don't know what year because I didn't write it down on a calendar or have any type of journal or any calendar, whatever. I didn't have any documentation, but I've seen it with my own eyeballs. I've seen it with my own eyeballs. Then to top it off, the way children are brainwashed and conditioned, I'm not saying parents do it on purpose, but it's destructive to relationships in the future. Let me explain. So, the way kids are taught, girls are taught to be givers. Here's baby dolls. You gotta learn how to take care of babies because one day you're gonna be a mommy. Here's an easy bake oven. Here's some frilly little clothes you can put on your doll. Here's some diapers that you can put on your doll baby. And here's a baba. You gotta feed the baby a bottle because the baby gets hungry and he starts crying. And men are boys. Some of them never outgrow being a boy, by the way. Anyway, they are given macho things. They are given trains and trucks and, military guys with guns and, dolls to play with and these macho manly things. They're not brainwashed from a child to be givers. But girls are taught that. And then, we talked about this before, and then you have parents that cater to the boy. I don't know what the hell it is about a penis that makes the whole world take notice and dance around it and do whatever, give special favors because of it. But my God, that thing is a sword of power. It makes the world go round. In Japan, they actually have a parade that honors the penis. If you think I'm lying, research it. Men will take care of other men. Men will lie for other men. Men will help other men have affairs. He may love Billy's wife. Not like that. But he thinks she's cool as shit. But if Billy's trying to have an affair, his buddy will help him have an affair. If you want a real wake-up call about how dominated men are by ass, if I need to go over certain parts of the book again, I will. The book, What Men Don't Want Women to Know. They idolize ass. They worship their dick. They cannot wait to stick it somewhere, anywhere, it don't matter. For straight men, it's the poon. Okay? For non-straight men or bisexual, any hole will do. We never ever teach boys how to be nurturers and givers, and you should get a good job one day. You're going to probably want to get married, and you're going to be expected to be a man. You're going to be expected to protect her, to honor her, and to protect her financially, emotionally, all of that. This is how you get a good woman. There's no education that men are given to get a good woman, but there's a lot of guys in particular teaching other guys how to manipulate women out of their damn underwears. Oh, you'll see a lot of that. But then you see girls and young ladies, this is how you keep your man. Don't do this. He doesn't like it. Don't wear that. He doesn't like it. Don't dress too loud colors. He doesn't like it. Don't laugh too loud. That's not ladylike. Don't wear loud nail polish. He doesn't like it. Learn to cook. Men like to eat. So she's brainwashed from a little girl to be a nurturer. She's brainwashed to give, 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 give. Give until there's nothing left to give. Because then the guy who's using you, now that you're an empty vessel and there's nothing else for him to gain, for being with you, then he's going to jet and find the next person. Or he's been with the next person while he's with you, pretending that he's just with you. This is a common thing. Read the book, What Men Don't Want Women to Know. That book is so goddamn powerful that one of the authors of the book, who is written by two men, by the way, one of the authors of the book, his best friend stopped being his best friend because he went against the guy code. You don't tell women the truth. They're the enemy. You don't reveal our secrets. What's wrong with you? He stopped being his friend because he revealed the dirt, and I will reveal the dirt again. All you got to do is say the word. We will go over it again, especially with their addiction to sex and their obsession with sex. HIV don't scare them. They don't give a flying fuck if they get HIV. They don't care as long as they stick it somewhere. I'm grateful. Thank God that I ain't got a damn thing on my body that makes me lie, cheat, steal, pretend I love somebody. There's nothing on my body that dominates me like that. Thank you, Jesus. Nothing on my body dominates me like that. It makes me tell somebody I love them and pretend I love them and I'm going to love bomb them to get their drawers off. No. Thank God my body doesn't dominate me like that. It doesn't dominate me, period. Now, it does impact me when I crave things, like when I'm craving ice cream, which I've been craving for I don't know how long now, and I already had some and I want more. So it kind of grabs me by my shirt and tells me, you want ice cream. You want some butter pecan ice cream. So I get dominated like that. But it's even that's not a domination, because I could put that in the back of my mind until I'm able to get what I crave, and then hopefully I'll be okay for a while. Okay? But so far as needing to play with somebody emotionally so I could get them naked, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. Thank God. So you read, you got little girls teaching to give, give, give. You got to know how to cook. You don't have a man yet. You're not married yet. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So she's not only taught to give everything that she can give, but if she doesn't have a man, it's frowned upon. How come you're not married yet? You're 25 years old. What you waiting on? You got to start giving me some grandbabies. Guys are not taught to be nurturers. Guys are not taught to take care of their partner. They're taught to get a good job and make good money so you could buy the cars that you want and the house that you want or whatever. You take care of you. Men don't do anything. Let me say it again. Men don't do anything that doesn't benefit themselves. Getting with you has to benefit them in some way, or else they're not getting with you. And it's usually in a using way, not in a way of, I'm with you because it makes me feel good, but I hope you feel good when you're with me too. It's not a mutual thing. It's usually, guys don't do jack shit unless there's something in it for them. They don't give up college because they got married. Stupid. Women do that dumb shit. They don't give up anything for a woman. Well, this is where I really want to go to college, but I'm going to not go to that college. I'm going to go to where my girlfriend goes. Now, there's only a select few that will do that. But most men are not doing that. Most guys are not doing that. They're going to do they're going to stick with their plans. They're not going to be talked out of it because they're in love. They're going to do what they plan on doing. Girls, on the other hand, because we're taught to sacrifice everything, we'll give up everything for a guy. We'll give up our fucking education for a man, which is stupid. The education is a sure thing. He's not. Let me repeat that. The education is a sure thing. He is not. It is dumb how we don't teach guys to be nurturers. We don't. In fact, as a matter of freaking fact, we make them suppress who the hell they are. If he severely breaks his arm or leg because he fell off a horse or fell off his bike or whatever the hell he did, we tell him to suck it up. Ain't no son of mine gonna be, you gonna be a man. You ain't gonna be sitting up here crying like a little sissy, like a little girl. So he's already taught that being a girl is the worst thing you want to be. Or the worst thing you could be. You will never, ever in your lifetime see a TV show, read a book, listen to a podcast, or any of those that will tell men, well, let me backtrack. Rarely will you ever see, especially a guy, teaching guys, if you want a long-term partner, we're not talking ass. We're talking mature people here, where you actually want more than bouncing up and down with somebody. You actually want more. You got to respect your woman. You need to do this. You need to do it. You need to listen to what she's saying. You need to respond to what she's saying. Don't get defensive when you talk. When she talks, you listen to what she's saying and acknowledge what she's saying. You know, this is how you show love to her. This is how you show appreciation. There's very little of that out there, but there's a ton of unlimited information teaching girls how to give to the guy, how to please him, how to make him happy. So ever since you're little, knee-high to a grasshopper, now you're an adult, you have been brainwashed to give everything you have for the sake of a dude. Do you think he's taught the same way? Hell no. He's persuaded to chase puss. He's persuaded to go after women. He's persuaded to objectify women. And then we wonder why relationships don't work. How can they work when one person's a nurturer and the other person's a user? Oh, snap. How can it work? The guy is taught to sit on his throne and receive, and she's taught to give everything she has for him, and to give up everything that's important for the sake of being in love. How is that supposed to work in a relationship? It doesn't. And we wonder why. And then on top of that, we don't have morals and ethics. So we're our own worst enemy. If you so hot in the ass that you got to fuck men, even though they're abusive, even though they're mean, even though they push you and push you and push you to the brink of insanity, but you still won't leave their punk asses alone, and you're not being more selective, and you're still going after them, for what? Do you hate yourself that much? Do you hate yourself? Because you know that they ain't shit. The majority of them ain't shit. Women ain't no better. They don't know who the father of their kid is. They're going to just choose the guy with the most money. He's the dad. People in general are fucked up. They're horrible. Absolutely horrible. And proud to be that way. And you want companionship. Are you crazy? Get a dog, for God's sakes. Get a freaking animal. Get a dog. Get a cat. I personally can't handle cats because they jump on your counters. I don't care what you teach them. When you ain't there, do you honestly think they keep off the counters? Come on now. They're little ninjas. Okay? They're little ninjas with fur. Please. There's no place they can't go. I know how this works. I'm not saying I haven't fallen in love with cats. I have, but my God. They're on top of your refrigerator, scaring the hell out of you. You scream, you drop the milk. The milk's all over the floor. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're little ninjas. But I don't see, there's no incentive to want anybody. Really. There's no incentive. Because people don't have morals. And because we were raised wrong. We were raised to be a slave to a man. Give him everything. Do for the man. Do for the man. Do for the man. Do for the man. You ain't going to see 1/4 of that directed at guys to treat women with respect. You ain't going to find, it's rare. Because society and magazines and books and everything else, movies, books, everything, Walt Disney, movies, all of that, you got to do everything to please him. I don't got to do shit to please you. If you don't see who I am, and you don't see that I'm a good person, or you think because I'm a good person, you see me as someone that's going to be easy to manipulate, you're going to see the other side of me, and you're not going to like it. Ask Gay Bird Henderson. He'll tell you. He saw the wicked, evil side of me. You know why? Because I'm not a pushover. And anybody is going to snap on your ass because they're tired of your mind games. A squirrel is cute and fluffy and adorable and huggable. Piss him off and see what happens. I dare you. I triple dog dare you. You know how I know? Because I've done it. I backed him into a corner with my bike because I was a kid and I was being evil. I don't know why. I just felt this urge. I don't know. I backed him into a corner with my bike and I heard him make sounds that I didn't even know a squirrel could make those kind of sounds. He was about to whoop my ass. Anybody can be pushed to the point of madness. And then when a person pushes you, they're like, oh my God, that bitch crazy. It's not that she's crazy, it's that she's not a pushover just because she's nice. Okay? Everybody's not a rollover. Some people are not going to take your shit. And if you are a snake, there's going to be at least one person smart enough in your life that's going to rip you a new one because everybody else is a fucking rollover and they allow you to treat them like crap and they cry and cry and cry. Some people aren't going to want to cry. They're going to want to punch you in the throat. Don't hit people. Don't hurt them. But it is a fantasy because some people do need to get hurt because otherwise they're not going to stop. And even then, when you're mentally ill, like you have a narcissistic personality disorder, you are mentally ill. You need to get hurt just because it's enjoyable to see you suffer for a change instead of dishing out suffering to somebody else. I'm not advocating for violence, but if something really bad happened to somebody who's an asshole, that doesn't bother me. It's high time you got that. You should have got that a long time ago. Be glad that you didn't get it a long time ago because God knows you deserved it. Anyway, we're trained wrong from when we're little. Boys get catered to. The boys get older. They become young men. They still get catered to. And they are pushed to be a whore by boys their age, by men older than them, by their own fathers. Did you tap that yet? No, Dad. Ew. Well, I don't want no son of mine being gay. You better look here. You're not queer, are you? So you're teaching him to be a slut. And then when he's becomes a slut and he's got babies all up and down the state, thank yourself for that because you taught him to stick it everywhere he can because God knows you don't want him to be gay. You'd rather him be a whore. At least you know that he's not gay. All of our mentality is just backwards and destructive. And we wonder why the end result is shit. This is the result. Ta-da! Some girls get spoiled rotten. They get spoiled rotten by their parents or by their father or whatever. They become narcissists. And they become the few good men that are out there. They become nightmares to those men. And they destroy those men. Destroy them. Because they are the psychological cancer of our society. In addition to psychopaths and sociopaths. So, when you teach one person to be a slave because she's a female, and teach the other one to be a receiver and to go get trucks and go make money and do you. Don't take care of her and nurture her. No, I don't want my son being soft. You know, and a guy who does, this is where we're all fucked up in the head. And a guy who does cater to his woman and does treat her like a queen, he's called a simp. He's insulted because he doesn't think with his dick, he thinks with the head on his shoulders. And he's insulted for that. And we wonder why the end result is people who can't function in relationships because they were taught poisonous, destructive things. It stayed with them through life. And in addition to trauma from their childhood and whatever else they've been through with no therapy. And you just compile all of these things, and the end result is an individual who is not capable of loving anyone but themselves. Something to think about. Y'all take care. Bye.